Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into the Napoleonic Wars with a twist, focusing on the Ottoman Empire. Imagine Napoleon tearing across Europe and you've got a front row seat to the action. Why didn't the Ottomans seize the opportunity to reclaim lost territories or strengthen their position? We're about to unravel the complex web of factors that kept the Ottomans from capitalizing on Napoleon's rampage, so buckle up, because we're about to embark on a historical journey exploring the missed opportunities of the Ottoman Empire during the Napoleonic era. To understand why the Ottomans didn't pounce on the Napoleonic chaos, we need to look under the hood. Think of a once mighty ship, its sails torn, its hull leaking, struggling to stay afloat. Centuries of expansion had led to a sprawling empire, and managing this vast territory was becoming increasingly difficult. Communication lines were stretched, and local governors often acted with more autonomy than the Sultan in Istanbul would have liked. Corruption had seeped into the Ottoman bureaucracy like water into a ship's hull. Taxes, the lifeblood of any empire, weren't always reaching their intended destinations, and essential services were suffering. The Janissaries, once the elite fighting force of the Ottoman army, had become more interested in preserving their own power than defending the empire. These internal struggles weakened the Ottoman Empire from within, making it incredibly difficult to react effectively to external threats. So, as Napoleon's star rose in the west, the Ottoman Empire was stuck battling its own internal demons. Let's talk about the military, because, in the game of empires, military strength is your ace in the hole. Unfortunately for the Ottomans, their military was stuck in a previous century. While European armies were modernizing, the Ottomans were clinging to outdated strategies and weapons. The once feared Ottoman army, with its outdated tactics and equipment, was ill-prepared to face the disciplined and technologically superior French forces. Their navy, once a force to be reckoned with in the Mediterranean, had also fallen behind. There were attempts at reform, like the Nizam-i-Qaidid, a new military corps trained along European lines, but these reforms were often met with resistance from the Janissaries and other conservative elements within the empire. So here you have an empire facing a world in rapid transformation, yet unable to adapt fast enough. Now, let's zoom out and consider the geopolitical chessboard of Europe during Napoleon's time. The Ottoman Empire, geographically sprawling across southeastern Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East, found itself caught between a rock and a hard place. On one hand, there was France, Napoleon's burgeoning empire, which, while a tempting ally against their old rivals, the Habsburgs, was also a potential threat. On the other hand, there was Great Britain, the other major power player, who, while wary of French expansion, was also not exactly keen on seeing a resurgent Ottoman Empire. This diplomatic balancing act was incredibly delicate. The Ottomans couldn't side too closely with France, fearing further encroachment on their territory. But they also couldn't afford to alienate Britain, who they needed as a trading partner and a potential ally against Russia, their perennial nemesis. The Ottomans, wary of making a misstep, often found themselves reacting to events rather than dictating them. Now, let's talk about money, because, as they say, it makes the world go round, especially in the world of empires and grand ambitions. Sadly for the Ottomans, their once overflowing coffers were looking rather bare. The Ottoman economy, once the envy of the world, was facing a perfect storm of challenges. The discovery of new sea routes to the east by European powers had diminished the importance of Ottoman-controlled trade routes, cutting into their revenue streams. European manufactured goods were flooding Ottoman markets, undercutting local industries and artisans. This trade imbalance drained valuable resources from the Ottoman economy, making it harder for them to compete. Constant wars and internal instability further strained the Ottoman treasury. So while Napoleon was busy financing his campaigns through conquest and plunder, the Ottomans were struggling to make ends meet. This lack of financial resources severely limited their options, forcing them to prioritize internal stability over expansionist ambitions. Now let's delve into a less tangible but equally important factor that shaped the Ottoman response to the Napoleonic era, the social and cultural fabric of the empire. The Ottoman Empire was a vast mosaic of different ethnicities, religions, and cultures, all coexisting under Ottoman rule. This diversity, while a source of strength in many ways, also presented unique challenges. Change, especially radical change, is never easy. In the Ottoman Empire, with its deeply ingrained traditions and social structures, resistance to change was deeply rooted. Many within the empire, from religious scholars to powerful local elites, saw the rapid transformation sweeping Europe as a threat to their way of life. This resistance to change made it difficult to implement the kind of sweeping reforms that might have allowed the Ottomans to keep pace with the modernizing world. Furthermore, the rise of nationalism, a powerful force that would eventually reshape the map of Europe, was also beginning to stir within the Ottoman Empire. Ethnic groups who had long lived under Ottoman rule began to assert their own identities, seeking greater autonomy and, in some cases, outright independence. Now let's rewind the clock and imagine a different scenario. What if the Ottomans had played the diplomatic game differently? What if they had seized the initiative instead of reacting to events? They could have forged a stronger alliance with Great Britain, playing the enemy of my enemy is my friend card against Napoleon. A united front between the two powers might have checked French ambitions and potentially secured valuable concessions for the Ottomans. They could have also taken a page from Napoleon's playbook and played the European powers against each other, exploiting their rivalries to their advantage. But alas, it was not meant to be. A combination of factors, including mistrust, miscommunication, and a reluctance to fully commit, prevented these potential alliances from materializing. By the time the Ottomans realized the need for a more proactive and pragmatic approach, the opportunity had passed. So, there you have it. The story of how the Ottoman Empire, once a mighty power, found itself on the wrong side of history during the Napoleonic era. It's a tale of internal decay, military stagnation, diplomatic blunders, and missed opportunities. We've seen how internal weaknesses, from a crumbling bureaucracy to an outdated military, paralyzed the Ottomans, preventing them from taking advantage of the Napoleonic whirlwind. At the same time, external pressures, from the shifting sands of European diplomacy to the rise of new ideologies, further constrained their options. Understanding this period is crucial not just for history buffs, but for anyone who wants to grasp the forces that shaped the modern Middle East. The Ottoman Empire's failure to adapt to a changing world set the stage for its eventual decline. The emergence of the volatile geopolitical landscape we see in the region today is a direct result of these historical dynamics.